Breaking news. Welcome to today's headlines. This is not the Nigerian we aspire to. Peter Obi blasts Tinubu's government over recent action. This is not the Nigerian we aspire to. Peter Obi blasts Tinubu's government over recent action. To my dear listeners, from wherever you're listening from, please stay tuned as I read today's news. And please do ensure you like, subscribe, and share. Now the details. Peter Obi, former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, has criticized the federal government for the ongoing arrest and detention of journalists who will expose corruption. He warned that if this trend continues, Nigeria could descend into a banana republic. Obi expressed concern over the government's use of security and intelligence agencies to target investigative journalists, emphasizing the need for the National Assembly to enact a stronger Freedom of Information Act. He argued that the right to free speech is closely tied to the public's ability to access information about government actions. In a statement released on Tuesday, Obi said, "The fundamental right to free speech is directly connected to the right to access information about government activities and decision-making." The troubling trend of government agents suppressing information unrelated to national security highlights the urgent need for a robust Freedom of Information Bill. He stressed the importance of journalists in holding the government accountable, especially when those in power overstep their bounds. Obi condemned the recent harassment, abduction, and detention of investigative journalists in Nigeria, calling these actions deeply disturbing and unacceptable. Obi also called for the immediate release of the journalist Peter, who was arrested by the police last week. He underscored the importance of maintaining an open society where citizens can freely exercise their right to free speech. The disappearance and detention of journalists in Nigeria is a serious issue. Nigerian authorities must be held accountable for his whereabouts and any alleged wrongdoing. If such practices persist, Nigeria risks turning into a banana republic, where journalists are silenced or disappear for simply doing their job, Obi stated. This is not the Nigeria we aspire to. We demand justice, accountability, and an end to these severe attacks on press freedom. We seek an open society where citizens can freely express themselves, access unclassified information, and hold the government accountable. These are the fundamental requirements for the new society we are striving to build, he added. Now I've come to the end of our today's news. And now before I go, in contribution to that, we all know there are no freedom of speech in this country any longer. And indeed we demand for justice. How can we how can we be as a citizens and we won't be able to talk even when you're doing us wrong? It's unfair. Let's move to the comment section. The first comment I have says the man to govern Nigeria well is still not born. The current political leaders have expired. Another comment here says, so happy non-government suppression of journalists has become a crime now. You amuse me, bro. I have a question. Is the president the same Tinubu we know during Nadeko era? Now I understand why my friend will always tell me that power corrupt and absolute power corrupt absolutely. Why would a government that is pure want to suppress a journalist for criticizing her? Simply try and convince such a person, let alone when the person is telling the truth to the authorities. Another comment here says, when you go out every day in Lagos streets trying to look for your daily bread anytime, something illicit happens between you and one of the Agbero, and you try to defend yourself, you see the tens of other mob of Agbero comes out and unleash terror on you now. That is the kind of government presently. If you say something against Tinubu, his dogs like police, DSS, and the army will make your life miserable. That's hardcore racism. And the last comment for today's news says, hate speech was passed into law so that nobody would say the truth of what is happening. They silence the journalist and do not reveal the truth.